You're closer than you think. I know it's been hard, but what you've been praying for, pushing for, believing for, it's just around the corner. Don't give up now. This is not the time to throw in the towel. This is not the season to back down. The enemy always fights the hardest when you're on the edge of victory. Right before the finish line comes the heaviest pressure. That's not a sign to quit. That's a sign you're about to step into what you've been waiting for. Galatians 6:9 says, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." That verse doesn't say you might reap, or that some will reap. It says you will reap if you don't give up. The promise is already in place. The breakthrough is scheduled. The only thing that can stop it is quitting too soon. In the Old Testament, there's a man named Naaman. He was a powerful military commander, a man of status and strength. But he had leprosy. Despite all his achievements, he had a problem he couldn't fix. He heard about the prophet Elisha, who could heal him. So he traveled all that way, expecting a dramatic miracle. But Elisha didn't even come out to greet him. He sent a message. "Go wash yourself 7 times in the Jordan River, and you'll be healed." At first, Naaman was offended. He wanted something flashy. He wanted the prophet to wave his hand and make it all go away. But eventually, he obeyed. He dipped himself in that river once, twice, 5 times, and still nothing changed. Can you imagine how discouraging that must have been? But on the 7th dip, the final one, the Bible says his skin was restored like that of a young boy. What if he had stopped after the 6th? What if he said, "This isn't working. I feel foolish. I'm done"? He would have walked away, still carrying the very thing he came to be freed from. He was 1 step away from total transformation. That's how close you could be right now. One more prayer, one more act of obedience, one more day of standing strong could lead to the healing, the favor, the breakthrough you've been longing for. Hebrews 10:36 says, "You need to persevere, so that when you have done the will of God, you will receive what He has promised." That means the reward isn't tied to how long you've waited, but to your willingness to keep going. God is not looking for perfect people. He's looking for persistent ones. Maybe you've been sowing into your marriage, but haven't seen the change yet. You've been faithful in the business, but the doors still haven't opened. You've been battling that addiction, praying for that child, trusting God for that dream, and it feels like nothing's moving. Don't misread the silence. Just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it won't. There's a difference between delayed and denied. God's promises are still alive, and you're closer than you think. In Luke 5, the disciples had been fishing all night and caught nothing. These were seasoned fishermen. They knew the waters. They did everything right, but came up empty. By morning, they were tired, discouraged, ready to call it quits. But Jesus showed up and told them, "Throw your net on the other side." At first, it didn't make sense, but they obeyed. And the Bible says they caught such a large number of fish that their nets began to break. The blessing was there the whole time. They just had to hold on long enough to hear His voice. Maybe you're in the same boat. You've been casting the net. You've been faithful. You've done your part. But now you're tired. Listen carefully. Don't pack up the boat yet. Don't sail away in disappointment. Your net-breaking catch is still coming. Isaiah 40:29 says, "He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak." You may feel tired, but strength is coming. You may feel forgotten, but God is working behind the scenes. Doors are about to open. That healing is still on the way. That prodigal is coming home. The promotion, the restoration, the divine connection, it's still in motion. And when it feels like all hell is breaking loose, that's not the end. That's usually a sign you've rattled something in the spirit. You've stirred up the resistance because your breakthrough is closer than it's ever been. Pressure comes before promotion. Battles intensify before blessings are released. So stand your ground. Keep praising. Keep showing up. Keep believing. Because the same God who parted the Red Sea, who brought down the walls of Jericho, who opened prison doors for Paul and Silas, that same God is moving in your life right now. Don't give up. Don't shrink back. Don't surrender your joy, your peace, or your promise. You're closer than you think.